This is Michael Spedden, and welcome to Fowl Players Radio, your one-stop shop for all of your pop culture needs. We feature interviews from musicians, actors, comics, dancers, authors, and much, much more, up-and-coming artists and beloved favorites. We've got it all, people on stage, backstage, out front, and behind the scenes. Sit back and relax. Let's have some fun.
Hello, this is John Piet,
Kevin Schmidt,
and Jerry Bozick.
And we're August, a little band from Virginia. You can hear our story, other stories from the legendary Baltimore, D.C. music scene, and much, much more with Michael Spedden on Fowl Players Radio. You can find it at www.fowlplayersradio.com, on YouTube, and wherever you find podcasts online. Keep rocking.
Hi, folks. This is Jay David, and you're listening to Fowl Players Radio.
And welcome back to another episode of Fowl Players Radio. Michael Spedden here in season 11. And tonight we have Gina Alicya from the band Nightwind out of Northern Virginia. I had a great time talking to her, talking about, the band, her music that she's putting out here. We met her a few weeks ago performing at Morrisburger's Tavern in Catonsville, Maryland. And they did a great set that night, opening for Trixter. Chatterbox was there that night, and it was just a great time indeed. You can find them on Facebook, and I'll put this in the show notes as well, facebook.com/nightwindband. So we hope you enjoy this episode with Gina. I enjoyed talking to her, and stick around. We'll be back with Gina right after these words. The Fowl Players of Perryville, the Mid-Atlantic's premier murder mystery company, have upcoming shows on the Western Maryland Scenic Railroad, Fifth Company Brewing, Susky River Beverage Company, Madigan's Waterfront, Maryland Party Boat, and more. If you are interested in seeing a show, our website is www.fowlplayersofperryville.com, and if you are interested in booking us, please reach out to us at foulplayersperryville@yahoo.com or 443-600-0446. Remember, every Tuesday from 4 to 6 p.m. and Sunday at 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time for the replay is The Back of the Rack, the Michael Spedden Show on 97underground.com, Baltimore's pure rock worldwide. We feature blasts from the past, songs you forgot you liked, hidden gems, classics that never die, local and national act interviews, and music from up-and-coming and beloved classic bands. Go to www.97underground.com and download the free app today and listen to us wherever you go, anytime, anywhere. Also, see our archive of interviews on YouTube at 97 Underground Michael Spedden. We thank you for watching and listening to Fowl Players Radio. Our main website is www.fowlplayersradio.com, and our YouTube channel is youtube.com/@fowlplayersradio. Remember, please support our guests in their endeavors. Shop small and buy local. Links to their books, albums, tickets to their shows, and much, much more can be found in the show notes of each episode. Enjoy today's show.
This is Carrie Zaruba, and you're listening to Fowl Players Radio with Michael Spedden.
Okay. And welcome back to another episode of Fowl Players Radio. My name is Michael Spedden, and we are here in season number 11. We've got 11. The seasons go to 11. Or maybe not. I think we're going to keep going on to 12 here, and I've been wearing that joke out all season here. So today, we have on the show from the band Nightwind, out of Northern Virginia, we have lead vocalist Gina Alicya. Gina is here to tell us all about Nightwind, to talk about some band history. They've accomplished quite a bit in the time that they've been around, opening for national acts. They've got some great material, which we've been spinning on 97underground.com. And there's all kinds of great things she's here to tell us today. And I'm not going to give any more away here. So Gina, welcome to the show. Great to have you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me on your show.
Great. Well, it's our pleasure to have you, like I'd said. And, so we met you the other week at a 97 Underground show over at Morrisburgers, and the set sounded great. Band sounded good. And, we got a chance to talk and everything, and eventually set up our interviews here. So tell us a bit about, tell us all about what we want to find out about is Nightwind, of course. your beginnings. Tell us about how this eventually started. You mentioned there's been a couple incarnations.
Yeah, we're on Nightwind 2.0. I like to affectionately call it. Well, Nightwind 1.0 started with myself and my former music partner, Jerry Moore. And we actually got together. We met well, that's a long story, but in Northern Virginia. And we met in a music store. And we just kind of started talking and kind of hit it off. He's an amazing guitarist and multi-instrumentalist. So we just got to talking and decided to let's get together and see what happens, see what we can come up with. And so that was kind of the beginning. So yeah, we wrote songs for a few years actually, and put the band together after that.
Oh,
So
okay.
we didn't write as a band, we wrote as a duo. And
Sure.
was the music composer and I was a strong lyricist, so it kind of fit. So yeah, that was kind of the beginning. Yeah.
Great. That's interesting. So you kind of worked on the material together and then kind of brought the band in afterwards. The people that you felt really did the music the most justice, I'm guessing.
Exactly.
Or played it the best and everything, made the music sound exactly as you wanted it. Well, good. And so now we're with Nightwind 2.0.
Sure. Yes. I'll call it that.
Yes.
There was a break. There was a bit of a break in between 1.0 and 2.0. We kind of parted ways and I worked on my professional life and, we still kept in touch over the years, but, I reformed it and revived it and we're back out there. He's not, but he's doing his own thing now. And so, yeah.
I think just about everybody I know was in it and then stopped for a while to kind of build something up because, it wasn't paying the bills. And me, to get something stable under your belt and then, return to it, and that was the case with me. And I know quite a few other people, they took some time, maybe raised their children and then came back to it fresh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Different perspective.
Yeah.
More mature perspective. Let's just say it that way. And you'd like to hope you're mature after all that time, but yeah, new perspective, different look on it, different aspect of the music business, of course, changed a little bit. So
yeah, I can tell you a bit about growing as a person, from the first time around to the second time around myself, so I know exactly what you're talking about. Exactly. You look back a little older and wiser, and you try to not repeat the mistakes that you may have made the first time.
We hope not. We hope to not do that.
Right. So you had various incarnations of Nightwind. Now, when did music start for you?
Well, really, I was exposed to it pretty much all my life. Various genres of music, exotic type music, from other countries and things like that. And but really, my heart's in rock and roll. And it really kind of started, my songwriting started when I was actually 9 years old. I wrote my first song and it kind of went from there. And when I was a teenager, I think I decided, you know what? I'd like to be a singer, I think, one day. And so I was always good at writing, though, the written word. And so I just use that, and that's my strength now. And I just went from there. And I never started singing when I was a teenager. It was after that, but and here I am now. So it's been a while.
When did you know that you could sing? I mean, when did you really listen to yourself and say, hey, I think I can do this?
Well, a lot of singers don't like their own voice, but it took some practice and a lot of nerves and things like that. But I'm like, oh, okay, well, I can sing, Ann Wilson pretty well, and I love her. She's the queen to me, She was one of my first influences because there weren't very many women in rock and roll, and there still aren't, but there's a lot more than there used to be.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I kind of started the rock thing, her and her sister, Nancy, and that they were kind of the female rockers who started it all. And of course, Robert Plant is the king, and so is Chris Cornell for me. I think he's just amazing, and rest in peace. What a talent, and what a shame we lost him. But yeah, I mean, there's some singers now who are pretty great, but I like Amy Lee from Evanescence. She was a big, in her, not that long ago, a couple of decades ago, but she's still doing it, and I love her. So yeah.
Now, are you pretty much self-made in singing, or did you study with anybody? Did you take vocal lessons or anything like that?
I did take vocal lessons for a short time with actually Chris Fath.
Okay.
Well known in the world. Formerly married to Michael Fath, who a lot of people know. It's very well known in the DMV, I guess. So yeah, I did take lessons from her for a short time. She's just amazing.
It really makes a difference when you do that. I've studied it myself, and breathing, different techniques, and it's a lifesaver. It really is. I did a lot of singing myself, and not the original bands I was in, but I've done some acoustic stuff. But then when I got into theater, doing different songs and things like that, you had to have training for some of these pieces you've got to sing.
You got to know how to breathe and know how to use your vocal cords and your head voice and all, and your diaphragm, obviously, to support everything. And yeah, you have to do that so you don't blow your voice out and become like some of these other people that have been doing it for a while. We won't name any names, but you guys know who blow their voice out, and now they can't, sing much anymore, if at all. So yeah, I'm trying not to be that person.
See, you had mentioned Hart, Robert Plant, Chris Cornell as the ones that were your big inspirations. Anybody else, inspire you too?
Wow. Well, I mentioned Amy Lee, Evanescence.
She's right.
And there's just not that many. I mean, Stevie Nicks is great. There's just weren't, and still aren't really like a ton of female vocalists, but there's a lot more, like I said, than there has been.
Sure.
Girl power,
Oh yeah. Well, the thing is too is that there are a number of bands, especially like in Scandinavia, a lot of the melodic types of bands that have female singers, or sometimes they have a male and a female.
Symphonic metal is big with that.
Yeah,
that's what there's so many different rock and metal, so many different adjectives nowadays, but symphonic metal, I guess, prog rock and they have more operatic type of female voices.
Right.
And yeah, they kind of couple the beautiful female voice coupled with the harsher male voice. It's kind of a thing now, So.
Right. And hey, for that is amen. Thinking outside the box, having multiple singers, I mean, there are pieces out there like, musical theater and things like that, can be performed, a similar type of piece can be performed in a band as well, you know?
Yeah. I know Lacuna Coil, I believe they have both male and female vocals. They have the growling vocals, as I like to call it. The guy does that. And then she's got the beautiful, operatic type voice. So
right.
Toronto.
It sure, that's great. I mean, and a lot of great things come out of it, So you've been, again, performing in this area here for a good while now. Are there any particular clubs that you've enjoyed working in?
Nightwind 2.0 has been out now for a couple of years. We're really hitting it harder this past year, I think. Love Jam and Java in Northern Virginia. Loves and West, Moore's Burgers. You know, we're heading into Baltimore and making a splash there. So thank you for letting me on your show so that we can spread the love.
Hey.
There's some of the old clubs aren't there anymore, of course, when Nightwind 1.0 was. So they're either something else or they're no longer.
Right.
So, you know, a lot of those were fun to play at. Zach's, Jack's, the Bayou, Sully's, Nick's. I mean, they're all, I'm not even sure what they're doing now, but something else or no longer. Hammerjack, of course, was a Baltimore staple. So wish I would have played there, but didn't.
Yeah, great place.
Great clubs now that are up and coming and have been around for a while now. So I'm anxious to get out to those as well.
Sure. And, you know, lots of great places around. And again, you can drive down the street, and actually one of the local bands that I'm not sure if you played with them that night or not, did Chatterbox?
Yes, we did. We've played with Chatterbox. Yeah. They
have a song called Rock Ghosts, which is a song about the clubs that are no longer here. You know, Hammerjacks, the Network, you know, mostly Baltimore area bands, but they were also talking about the Capitol Center, down in Largo. And they had mentioned a number of people that were big on the scene around here too, that are sadly no longer with us. But it's something when, and we were talking about this too, and I've had this conversation with a lot of other people. You drive by somewhere and all of a sudden your mind goes back 30, 35 years ago when that was once a club and now it's a CVS pharmacy, or it's a gas station or a Walmart or something. It's just,
I think that's what Hammerjacks is. I heard, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, so you'd mentioned these clubs here, and you know, you're getting into Baltimore. You say you're making. I'm glad too. And I'll just interject this too. I'm glad that you're making a splash in the clubs and not being like these crazy people that are making a splash jumping into the harbor. You know, did you hear about that?
No.
Well, apparently, some people have said that it's okay to swim in the harbor in Baltimore City. And okay, no. And there was a big thing a couple of weeks ago where there were all these people and all the local politicians came out and jumped into the harbor, and they're swimming around. And I think if you're going to do that, you should have one of those swim up bars where you can get a hepatitis shot as well as a drink. You know, but
to them, I wouldn't do it.
No. But I would say stick with the clubs. Definitely stick with the clubs.
For sure.
Yep. You had mentioned in your bio here that you've been getting some airplay. DC 101, always a supporter of local music. They're always, you know, supportive and willing to. They've had their own shows and things like that where they've played local music.
Yes.
And how was that? What's that?
Nightwind 1.0 did that one.
1.0, yes. Yeah, my band did too back in those days. And
it was great.
Yep. And of course, 97 Underground. Always.
Yay.
Yeah. Oh, big advocates for our music scene. Big advocates for our music. Always have been too. Always have been since they were. Even before I was on 97 Underground, my bands from years ago got airplay and interviews and things like that. So always a big supporter of local music in the Baltimore area. And now that we're really not just limited to Baltimore, I mean, we're on the internet, we're all over the place. You know, we play a lot of people from different regions and everything. You've performed here. You've mentioned a number of opening people that you've opened for. You know, for example, I'm seeing on the list that you gave me here, Rick Wakeman. How was that? What was it? Did you get a chance to meet him or anything, or what was that like?
I probably passed him, but I didn't. No, I don't think. No, I think he was hiding because we were obviously opening, so he was kind of back in the green room, I guess. That was an amazing show, one of our best shows. And this was, of course, after his heyday with Yes.
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
out on tour years ago on his own, and keyboards everywhere on the stage. Dominated the stage, but the line was down the block, and it was one of our best shows, and it just was so fun. But I've had some other great shows too. So we've been fortunate to open for a few national acts, and would want to continue to do so until we become the national act. Let's hope.
Exactly.
We all
And
hope that.
yep, Wakeman, I mean, just just amazing, very so accomplished, such good stuff.
Yes.
Just incredible to watch. I mean, he's such a great, technician in terms of playing and everything, and his abilities, and the music he writes. Lynn Turner, I see you've mentioned as well. Rainbow,
Yes.
Deep Purple, Yngwie Malmsteen.
We had such a fortunate time to be able to open for these very talented, amazing people. And yes, we did that when he was on his solo tour as well. And I think he's even currently or recently touring as well. But yeah, that was a great show. Can't say enough about it. Just wonderful guy and talented. So we were really happy to be part of that.
Sure. And it says that you supported TV horror host extraordinaire Karlos Borloff. Tell me about that. I guess he's like a Svengoolie type of Elvira type.
Yeah. I will tell you, he is my former music partner.
Oh, okay.
And that is when we parted ways, he went and did that. And I went and worked on my professional career, to pay the bills for my job number 2, which is
okay.
music. So yes, he's quite successful. He's had it for I don't even know how long he's been on the air. 15 years, and he's just everywhere, all over the country. He's probably branched out outside of the country by now, but yeah, he's been doing it for a while and created the whole thing. And he's another incredibly talented man that I was very fortunate to be able to write most of my songs with. So yeah, he's still at it, and as far as I know, and yeah, he's doing great.
I would absolutely love a gig like that.
Yeah, he loves it. I mean, it's kind of, Kiss meets Rob Zombie or something. Like, he's a big Kiss fan. So he created the whole thing. He's just so incredibly talented. So yeah, you guys can catch him on stage. I don't know where he airs, but I know he's big on cable TV around here, but he's in many different cities throughout the country as well. So
yeah. I've interviewed a couple of people. I've interviewed Count Gore Duvall, who was on DC 20 for years. Yep.
And he knows Elvira too. It's funny you mentioned that. They're good friends.
I also had Captain Chesapeake, his daughter, on. Captain Chesapeake was on WBFF 45. A lot of these people were big back when we had a lot of independent television stations. Now, there was always the 3 networks, like ABC, NBC, CBS. But then before Fox and the CW and the WB came along, there were independent stations, and that's what Channel 20 was in DC. Channel 45 was up here, and I had Captain Chesapeake. So he was the kids show host as well as the horror show host. He was the ghost host at night. And I don't know about you, but I grew up watching that kind of TV, and I absolutely love it. And what's that?
I am not a big fan. I'm not into the horror stuff.
No, but yeah, it was just
it's comic. He has a sense of comedy. It's a comedy.
Right.
So he spoofs on a lot of old horror flicks, in those Japanese movies where they move the mouth, but nothing, comes out until
right.
seconds later and things like that. So he makes fun of those movies, and it's really, I'm sure he has a niche market, and they really adore him. So, but he's friends with all of these hosts that you're talking about. He knows them all, and that wasn't my thing. So,
right.
So he did that, and I went my own way, my own direction. So
understood. You've gotten some recognition from Billboard. Was that Billboard magazine or?
That's right. There was a songwriting contest that was sponsored by, I forget who, but they were doing a songwriting contest, and I entered a few pieces, and I did it in 2 different years and got recognition for 2 of my songs in different years. And Rainbow, which is a ballad, that was one that got special recognition. We didn't win the top award, but we got the recognition for our songwriting for that one. And then our other song, Hit and Run, we got recognition a different year. And guess who was on the judging panel of that one?
Tell me.
The Queen. And
that's
she had a hand in selecting our song Hit and Run for the other year that we got the achievement recognition for it, for songwriting.
That's got to be quite an honor. I mean, you told me that you had always loved Heart.
Of course, and the rocker, she's the OG.
So did you actually get a chance to how was this contest? Was it like like American Idol, where you are there performing the song, or was it just submitted?
No, it was just submitted.
Okay.
The tracks were submitted, and it wasn't the whole Grammy Awards or anything. It wasn't that type of thing where you met in person and received your award. No, it's something that they mailed to you. It was
okay,
type of thing. It wasn't some big gramophone or whatever.
Right. Did you get any commentary from her, or did she say anything to you?
No, I wish. We got the letter that came with it, of course, and
okay.
She was on the panel that judged that particular song. So I was that. So Anne loved it. So it's awesome.
Well, hey, it doesn't sound like you went wrong. You got the recognition. She was part of it, so she had to have thought well of it.
Yeah, I would imagine. I'm sure there was many hundreds and hundreds of entries, and that they had to go through and probably narrowed it down, and probably, I'm sure she didn't sit through them all, but they probably narrowed it down to X amount of entries, and she was there to judge. She had a limited amount of them, I guess.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of them got weeded out pretty quickly, and So where do you record your stuff?
Well, I have been recording more recently. We went Nightwind 1.0. We recorded at several different places throughout Virginia and Maryland. But more recently, I've been in the studio quite a bit in the last year and a half or more. And at Q and the studio that's in the same strip center as Q, in the back of the building, there's 38 North, which actually they just won a Whammy Award for the best music studio. So I was
great.
Yeah, Buddy Spirits. It's his studio. And my producer, Jim, we've been re-recording some of my songs and getting them, nice and radio ready. And I'll probably do an EP or an album. I'm not sure yet which way we're gonna go, but I'm gonna release something, an EP soon or an album soon. But I've been re-recording there, and Jim Ebert has been amazing to work with. He's worked with some of the greats out in LA. So as a matter of fact, the 2 songs that I believe you're going to play this evening, they were actually mastered by Dave Collins out in LA, who has worked with Metallica and Soundgarden, the King, Chris Cornell. And Sting, I think he's worked with Sting. So I'm very blessed and fortunate that he mastered those 2 songs of mine that you'll be playing sometime during your show. So yeah, it's been great. So yeah, I've been in the studio a lot, it seems like in the last year and a half, 2 years.
Yep. Do you have some people love the studio, some people dread the studio. Now, I'll tell you about my experience. You can tell me about yours. My experience, being in the studio, I'm usually nerves of steel. I don't get intimidated easily. I could walk out in front of a stadium with over 100,000 people and be very, very comfortable in my own skin. Get me into a studio, I am an absolute mess.
Oh, I love it. If you're asking me my opinion of it, question.
Right.
I love it. I love being on stage. I love when you look out in the audience and people are singing the words to your songs. I love the energy, but I love the studio and the creativity and just listening to your tracks get mastered by these great musicians, one track at a time. And my session musicians are different from my live musicians.
Oh, is that right?
All this stuff. Yeah, they have to do all this stuff. And they're such talented studio musicians that I work with. There are top-notch guys, and it's been amazing, and I love it. And we knock out a track real quick. And when you're in there with bands, it can drag on for days, and of course all of that. So yeah, Jim likes to get a track done each day. So he'll do 1 track per day.
Wow.
So and the old days we could be in the studio for days on end when multiple people in a band, and it's a lot. So I love it. I love the creativity of it. I love listening to them just lay the tracks down one by one. And then I have the input, and we work on the mixes and things like that. So but I love the live too, of course. You got to do that as well.
Oh yeah. Playing live is always I just it's just the problem I run into when being in the studio, how it always was that I would just you know how you had mentioned earlier how singers hate to hear their own voice. Sometimes I just when I start playing, and it's just because I'm a bass player, okay, so I would always be me and the drums at first, and I'd always be like just listening to myself. I'm like, oh God. And then I'd be worried about speeding up, falling out of time with the drum tracks. And then everybody's watching you and the time is ticking and the money's ticking. And oh God, that just drove me up the wall back in those days. But when it came to finally getting past that and getting the final product out and everything, it was wonderful. But just getting to that point with my nerves and butterfingers and everything else, I was just an absolute mess.
It's a lot of work, that's for sure, if you're doing it like that. So but you're the rhythm section, so
yeah, I know.
Keep that timing.
Yeah, you're right. Have you ever had any Spinal Tap moments where something absolutely horrible or things went horribly wrong that you could probably laugh about it later, but
okay, I probably should never confess this.
Okay.
I have never watched the movie.
Oh, get out. Boo.
No, boo me off right now. I don't let anybody hear that.
Okay.
I have not watched the movie. I hear about it. I know some of the actors that play in it.
Sure, yeah.
I've never watched that movie. I might have watched bits and pieces, so I can't even answer that now.
Well, I have a task for you. I have an assignment for you. And I'm going to also, if your band members are listening, I'm going to check up with them the next time I see you to make sure that this has been done. But
so sad.
Please. That's okay. That's okay. There have been some other people that haven't too. So, you're not alone with that. And there's something to be ashamed of. Well, let me ask you this now, instead of phrasing it as a Spinal Tap moment. Have you had anything that went comically horribly wrong on stage?
Comically, I guess I wouldn't have found it funny at the time.
Right, exactly. But yeah.
No, other than like technical difficulties and things like that. I'm trying to think of like the most embarrassing moments.
Right.
That would be probably fall into that category.
Mhm.
Hmm. I'm trying to think. Other than technical difficulties,
Mhm.
no, like hugely embarrassing things at the moment. I think some of my guys probably have had.
Yeah.
I think we played a festival what was it, a few weeks ago, and we were using the back line of the people who put on the festival. We're using their back line. So my drummer didn't use his beautiful, expensive kit. He didn't get to do that. I think his seat broke or some kind of crazy thing, or I don't know what it was, but it was something that was just tragic. And he had to act like nothing was wrong and the show. And thankfully it was a shorter show because there was multi-band, so it was a shorter show. But something happened and he had to like hold the snare up or something. I'm not sure what happened. It was a snare drum or his seat or something.
Oh man.
And yeah, it was a nightmare for him. Not for me necessarily, but you know, it's hard to come back from that. But he did it seamlessly and no one knew but him.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was one of those. I guess it would fall under embarrassing, I suppose.
Yep. That's funny. So where can we find out more about Nightwind?
Okay, so you can go to our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/Nightwind Band. And working on the website. I'll be releasing that soon. We've been working on it forever, it seems. Me and my graphics guy. And we're about to go on Instagram as well. So but for right now, facebook.com/Nightwind Band. You can email me if you'd like. Can I say that on air?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so you can email nwband777@gmail.com. If you want to get me directly.
Okay, great. And what do you have coming up in terms of shows?
Okay, and well, we just played Zen West like 2 nights ago on Saturday night, so that was an awesome show for us. We headlined there. Coming up is we have a couple of shows in August. I think the 16th and 17th. 16th, I believe, is Mooresburgers Tavern, Baltimore, and we have a festival. It's an outdoor festival. I'm not even sure what it's called, Music Fest or something. It's an annual thing that's put on by the great Charlie Higgs. He's a well-known musician in Baltimore, and his business puts it on along with some other businesses. And that is, I believe, Saturday, August 17th.
Okay.
We have a few things coming up in September. We're going to be at Atlas Brewworks. I think September 20th in DC. And we're also playing, and the location is to be determined in September, early September, I believe it is. It is at another, it has to do with the DC Shorts Film Festival. It's an
Sure.
festival that's pretty well known in the area. And last year we played the Metro Bar in support of the film festival. This year, not sure where it's going to be located, but stay tuned. My Facebook page, and we will tell you where we're going to be playing. So like and follow, everybody, please.
Great. So definitely like and follow. And your dates are there. You usually post something to let people know. You send out invites and events and everything.
Absolutely.
To everybody in your all your faithful followers on Facebook, the faithful followers of Facebook. Absolutely. And so are you now, your music, do you have that for sale yet? Do you have that anywhere it can be heard or purchased? Or are you still waiting yet?
not for sale yet. We just did a video shoot. I'll be releasing a couple of YouTube videos of full songs.
Mhm.
So that's coming up. I'll have an EP coming up soon. I'm
Okay.
debating whether I'm going to do an EP or a full album.
Mhm.
So we're working that out right now. But I've got some things on the Facebook page
Mhm.
as well. You can see some videos out there also. There's YouTube videos out there as well. Just
Mhm.
YouTube Nightwind band, and you should pull those up. Those are from different shows that we've played. And then I'll have from the video shoot, I'll have some releases really soon. We're working on the audio right now, the audio mixing.
Right. So you do have a YouTube channel as well.
They're out there on a lot of other people's YouTube, but yeah, that's forthcoming as well. My
Okay.
brother is fast as I would like him to be.
Right. Sure. Hey, you know that they all take time, right?
They do. It takes a while. Yeah.
Mhm. They
So,
do.
out
They
soon, very soon, very soon.
Right. Great. Well, folks, you can hear Nightwind on 97 Underground coming up to you if you tune into my show, The Back of the Rack, every Tuesday from 4 to 6, every Sunday from 3 to 5. We'll be giving Nightwind some spins for sure, and we're going to try to get it out throughout the station too. So something else that's being discussed, as well as again, well worth checking out, everybody. Check their Facebook for their dates. Well worth going to see. I think you'll have a good time. I think you'll like what you see and hear. So
Thank you. Give me some feedback. I'd love to hear from everybody and see how they like the material. That's always good to know, how well things are going over. But so far we've had really, really incredibly positive feedback on our music, and I'm proud of it. So of course, it's my baby. So
well worth being proud of, I would say. So if it were mine, I'd be proud of it too. So very good. Very good. Well, Gina Alicya, thank you so much for joining us today on Fowl Players Radio. Folks, you know where to see her and hear her and check all of her stuff out. So please do it. Support our artists.
yay.
Support our artists, especially our local folks here,
Yes.
the folks that are working on trying to build and make their dreams come true. There are lots, and I say this all the time, and tell me if you agree with me or not. I'm a big proponent of shopping small, shopping local, helping local artists, whether it be music, whether it be albums or books or tickets to a theater show or anything else that they have, anything else that's going on. Get out and support it, because they say buy local or buy local. So we want to make sure that we're out there supporting our artists. These things make great gifts. Do you agree?
Oh yeah.
Great gifts.
Absolutely.
Great gifts, great experiences, lots of great stuff in our region, folks. So get out there and support it. There's a whole wonderful world out there. If you haven't been around to see it, it's well worth checking out here. So again, thank you again, Gina, for joining us on Fowl Players Radio.
Thank you so much, Mike. I appreciate your support.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you next time.
Thank you, everyone.
And folks, thanks for tuning in tonight with our interview with Gina Alicya from the band Nightwind. Again, their social media is facebook.com/Nightwind Band. Great band out of Northern Virginia. I had a great time talking to her. And make sure that you support them. Check out their music. Check out their shows. She mentioned a whole bunch of shows that they're going to be performing at in the next couple of months. So get out there and support them, as I would ask you to do for all of the artists that we have here on Fowl Players Radio. Remember, you can find all of our interviews at www.fowlplayersradio.com or on YouTube at youtube.com/@fowlplayersradio. Again, support our artists. Come out, support our endeavors here at Fowl Players Radio. Remember to hit that like and subscribe button, and we will see you all next time, folks. Thanks again for your support. Take care.